before you get comfortable, before you turn the lights down, let me ask you something. What if the scariest thing watching you tonight isn't outside your window? What if it's already inside the house, pretending to be human? Because tonight's stories aren't about monsters chasing you. They're about the ones that wait, the ones that watch, and the ones that smile back when you finally notice them. This isn't an iceberg. This isn't fiction meant to entertain. These are unexplainable Reddit stories, the kind that crawl under your skin and stay there. So don't multitask. Don't scroll. Just listen. Because the first story starts with a child asking a question that should never be answered. Story 1. The Thing in the Woods. I was babysitting for extra cash that summer. Nothing unusual. I asked around school first, took jobs from families I knew. Easy money, safe money. But safe doesn't pay well, so I put up a Craigslist ad. That's how I ended up at a cabin on the edge of the woods. No neighbors, no streetlights, just trees, endless trees. The parents were polite. Normal, too normal. They pointed out the garden, the lanterns hanging from branches, the little swing near the tree line. They laughed about how quiet it was out here. Quiet isn't comforting when you're surrounded by forest. The kid, Jason, was around 5 or 6. Quiet, observant. The kind of kid who watches instead of talks. I put him to bed early and did what I always do when bored. I snooped. Drawers, trinkets, coins, old notebooks. Then I noticed something strange. The windows. Every major room had one massive window facing the woods. The living room, the kitchen, even the attic. Like the house wanted to look out, or something wanted to look in. Around midnight I was upstairs, when moonlight suddenly vanished from the room. A shadow slid across the wall. Not fast, not sudden. Slow, deliberate. I froze. Someone, or something, was standing outside the window. I didn't look up, because if I did, it would mean acknowledging it. Eventually the shadow passed. The moonlight returned. I told myself it was a bird, but birds don't block half a room. I went downstairs and turned on the TV. Didn't help. Then I heard creaking upstairs. Jason's room was empty. The attic door was open. My stomach dropped. When I called his name, he answered immediately. From the attic. He was sitting at the tiny window, staring into the forest, not blinking. I asked what he was looking at. He didn't answer. So I asked him a question, half joking, half nervous. What do you think lurks out there in the woods? He replied without hesitation. My mother. I laughed. Nervous laugh. Forced laugh. Kids say weird things. I explained what lurk meant. Tried to make it playful. I asked again. My mother. No smile. No joke. Dead serious. That's when I noticed something else. His eyes kept flicking to the window behind me, like he was afraid I'd turn around. That night his parents came home late. I watched them. Studied them. Especially the mother. Nothing seemed wrong. But before I left, I climbed onto the porch roof and looked at Jason's window. The glass was scratched. Deep. Long. Jagged scratches. Like fingernails. I don't remember biking home. I remember running. Because while I was watching the parents sleep, something stepped out of the hallway shadows. Tall. Emaciated. Bones stretched too far. It stood beside the mother's bed and counted. On its fingers. Slowly. When it noticed me watching, it smiled. Micro, cliffhanger transition. And that was just the first story. Because the next one doesn't take place in the woods. It takes place in a marriage. A normal relationship. A loving wife. A shared home. Until she starts peeking. From behind furniture. From inside closets. From places she shouldn't fit. And the longer it goes on, the clearer it becomes. She isn't playing a game. She's practicing. If you think you'd notice when someone is watching you, you're wrong. Because sometimes, the scariest thing isn't being seen. It's realizing you've been seen for a long time, and whoever's watching is enjoying it. Story 2. My wife keeps peeking at me. My wife Lynn and I had been together for 6 years. Married for 11 months. Normal life. Normal arguments. Normal love. No red flags. No history of mental illness. No obsession with horror. She hated scary movies. Couldn't even finish The Shining. That's why the first time it happened, I laughed. I was late for work, coffee in hand, rushing down the hallway when I caught movement ahead of me. Eyes. Just eyes. Peeking from around the corner. I nearly spilled my coffee. Jesus, Lynn. I laughed. You scared the hell out of me. She vanished instantly. Like a kid caught stealing cookies. Then I heard her laughing from the living room. Weird, but harmless. Or so I thought. 3 nights later, I woke up thirsty around 2 a.m. Kitchen lights off. House quiet. As I stood there drinking orange juice, that feeling hit me. You know the one. The feeling of being watched. I looked down. My wife's face was staring up at me from the other side of the kitchen island. Eyes wide, unblinking, grinning, not smiling, grinning. I screamed. She scrambled backward on all fours. Hands and feet slapping tile. Disappearing into the darkness. When I found her in bed seconds later, she was asleep, breathing slow, peaceful. The next morning I asked her about it. She laughed. Laughed hard. Like I'd told the best joke of the year. You creep me out sometimes, she teased. And somehow, I let it go. That was my mistake. Because after that, she didn't stop. She just got better. Behind the couch. Behind curtains. Inside an old trunk at the foot of our bed. Half her face visible. Eyes gleaming. One night I confronted her. She didn't answer. She slowly closed the trunk lid from the inside. 2 weeks passed. Nothing. I relaxed. Then she said it. Maybe I've just gotten better at it. I stopped sleeping. Every shadow felt wrong. Every corner felt occupied. Then came the shower. Soap in my hair. Eyes closed. That feeling again. I opened my eyes. Her head was inside the shower curtain. Neck stretched too far. Hair dripping wet. Mouth open in a frozen, ecstatic grin. She didn't move. Didn't blink. When she finally backed away, she slammed the bathroom door. I locked myself inside for over an hour. When I finally opened it, she was peeking from the bedroom closet, moaning softly, like she couldn't contain her excitement. I ran. I fled barefoot, half naked, straight to my brother's house. And I thought I was safe. Until morning. When I felt eyes on me again, I looked up. Her face was pressed against the window. Drool streaked down the glass. She'd been there a long time. She vanished before my brother could see her. But the drool remained. Proof. That's when I called her mother. And that's when I realized. She knew. She just didn't want to say it. Seek professional help. She told me. Not doctors. Something else. The return home 2 days later, my brother came with me to the house. Daylight. Safety in numbers. The front door was open. The smell hit us immediately. Rot. Every curtain closed. No sunlight. Silence. Glass crunched under our feet on the stairs. Our wedding photo was smashed. Then we opened the closet. Eyeballs. Dozens of them. Paired neatly. Animal eyes. Watching, that's when my brother froze. I felt it too. That pressure. That awareness. Someone else was here. We turned. Under the bed. My wife. Curled on her side. Hands clasped under her chin. Shaking with excitement. Her smile was wider than her face should allow. I tried to talk to her, tried to help. She lunged, glass in her hand, blood everywhere. She chased us, down the stairs, through the house. I barely escaped. She tackled me near the door, her mouth near my ear. Moaning, enjoying it, I ended up in the ER, stitches. Police. No sign of her. They told me to file a restraining order. As if paper could stop something like that. I checked into a motel, locked the door, sat on the bed. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. 3 words. I found you. An attached image. Her eye. Close up, smiling. Micro. Cliffhanger. And that's where the Reddit post ended. No update. No explanation. Just a man alone in a motel, knowing his wife can see him, even when he can't see her. But here's the worst part. The comments. Dozens of people said the same thing. She isn't stalking you. She's counting. Once they start peeking, it's already too late. Because apparently, this wasn't the first time anyone had seen behavior like this. And it never ends with divorce. If you're still listening, there's something you need to understand. These stories don't end with answers. They end with patterns. And once you notice the pattern, you start seeing it everywhere. Because the final story isn't about the woods. It isn't about a marriage. It's about the realization that some things don't chase you. They wait. Story 3. People who watch. There's a strange detail that connects all unexplainable Reddit stories. Not the monsters. Not the violence. Not even the fear. It's observation. Someone watching from a place they shouldn't be. Someone enjoying the moment before being discovered. Reddit users started replying to the babysitter's story and the husband's story with eerily similar experiences. Different locations. Different people. Same behavior. A woman who stood in her backyard every night, staring at her son's bedroom window. A roommate who hid inside closets just to hear footsteps pass. A man who smiled at his reflection because it blinked first. One comment stood out. They aren't trying to scare you. They're learning how long they can look before you react. That's when things clicked. The babysitter's story didn't end when he ran home. Buried in the comments, he replied once. Just once. He said that after that night, his own mother started standing in doorways longer than usual. Silent, smiling, not saying a word. Another user replied instantly. Don't confront her. If it mimics someone close to you, it's already attached. That word kept coming up. Attached. The pattern, here's what Reddit theorized. And before you brush this off, listen carefully. These entities don't arrive suddenly. They observe first. They pick environments where watching is natural. Forests, homes, families. They start small. A shadow, a peak, a feeling. Then they escalate. Longer stares. Closer proximity. Joy when noticed. Because fear isn't the goal. Recognition is. The babysitter didn't attract it by stealing the porcelain horse. He attracted it by not looking up. The husband didn't trigger it by leaving. He triggered it by acknowledging the game. Once you play along, once you notice, it knows you can see it, and it smiles. The final comment, the last comment on the husband's post appeared 6 hours later. Short. Unverified account. No post history. Just this. It's not your wife. It's using her face because you loved it. Stop sleeping near windows. Stop mirrors. If it sends pictures, it's close enough to touch you. No one replied. The account was deleted within minutes. The original poster never updated again. But someone else did. A motel employee posted on a local subreddit 2 days later. They said police were called to a room after a guest didn't check out. Door locked from the inside. No signs of struggle. No guest. Phone left behind on the bed. Camera roll filled with photos. Hundreds of them. All taken from outside windows. Different houses. Different people. All asleep. All unaware. Except one photo. The last one. A reflection in the motel bathroom mirror. A man holding the phone. And behind him, something smiling. Why these stories stick? You might think this is just horror. Creative writing. Internet fiction. But here's why these stories don't leave your head. Because you felt it. That pause when you turn off the lights. That hesitation before closing the bathroom door. That instinct to check behind you, even when you know nothing's there. And because deep down, you know watching doesn't require footsteps, or breath, or sound, just patience. Final thought, slow burn ending. So tonight, when you finish this video, when the screen goes dark, pay attention to how long you stare at your reflection, and ask yourself one question. Are you watching it? Or did it start watching you first?